Have you ever witnessed a fumble so catastrophic, so historically embarrassing, that it actually shifts the gravitational pull of Hollywood? Well, grab your popcorn and buckle up, because the Harvey household is currently in a state of absolute DEFCON 1. We've all heard the saying success is the best revenge, but Michael B. Jordan didn't just get revenge, he staged a full-scale tactical takeover of the A-list. While Michael was standing on that stage, clutching a gold man that represents the pinnacle of human achievement, a certain socialite and her momager were reportedly staring at their phone screens in a cold, lonely sweat. But here's the kicker, the part that's sending shockwaves through the blogs and making Damson Idris look like a temporary placeholder. Rumor has it, the moment the name Michael B. Jordan echoed through the Dolby Theatre, Marjorie Harvey didn't just send a congrats text. No, we're talking about a full-blown, desperate Hail Mary attempt to get back into the good graces of a man she once claimed she wasn't ready for. Is it true that Marjorie Harvey, the same woman who allegedly orchestrated the smear campaign to paint Michael as the problem, is now the one pushing Marjorie to grovel? Did Michael really hit the block button while the world was cheering for his victory? We are diving deep into the leaked DMs, the awkward basketball game encounters, and the absolute betrayal of the century. You thought you knew the story. You haven't heard anything yet. Let's get into the mess. The energy shift in the Harvey household after Michael B. Jordan's Oscar win has been nothing short of radioactive. We aren't just talking about a misconnection. We're talking about a complete systematic collapse of a PR machine that has dominated the headlines for years. When that gold trophy touched Michael's hand, the silence from Marjorie and Marjorie spoke volumes, but the noise behind the scenes was deafening. According to deep-dive investigative findings and leaked chatter from Hollywood insiders, the night of the Oscars was a comedy of errors for the Harvey women. While the rest of the world was celebrating Michael's Best Actor triumph, Marjorie was reportedly locked in a room, spiraling as the realization hit that the man she let go wasn't just doing well, he had officially become untouchable. Sources close to the production team of Michael's latest project have hinted at a series of frantic, late-night digital footprints left by Marjorie. Imagine the desperation of sending a congratulatory text to an ex who has not only moved on but has literally deleted your existence from his psyche. It's being whispered in the industry that Marjorie tried to leverage her remaining connection through mutual friends, begging for a quick call to celebrate his win. But Michael, being the calculated strategist he is, treated those attempts like spam mail. He didn't just ignore her, he reinforced the wall. The public saw him looking unbothered and glowing, but behind the scenes, he was reportedly finalizing a do-not-contact protocol with his security and management team. And then we have the mastermind herself, Marjorie. The public perception of Marjorie has always been that of a protective, high-fashion matriarch, but the investigative truth paints a much darker picture of manipulation and failed power plays. Years ago, when the breakup first happened, Marjorie was the one allegedly planting the seeds of doubt. She was the one reportedly whispering in Marjorie's ear that Michael was too focused or not enough for the Harvey brand. She even brought in her close circle, including names like Lisa Ray, to push a narrative that painted Michael as someone who didn't appreciate black excellence, despite him being the literal embodiment of it. They tried to other him, to make him the villain in a story where he was actually the hero. But now, the tables haven't just turned, they've been flipped over and shattered. Marjorie's recent social media activity, those subtle reposts from Jennifer Lewis about not sitting in the smell, were a desperate attempt to regain control of a narrative that is slipping through her fingers. She tried to make it look like they were the ones moving on, but the investigative reality is that Marjorie is reportedly furious that Michael didn't play the game. She expected him to grovel, to miss the family, and to miss the lifestyle. Instead, he outpaced them. He leveled up so hard that the Harvey name started looking like a footnote in his biography rather than the headline. Public reactions to this have been brutal. The internet is no longer buying the it girl aesthetic when it's fueled by regret. Comment sections are flooded with fans calling out the hypocrisy of Marjorie and Marjorie trying to pivot back to Michael now that he's at his peak. People are pointing out the dump him license plate and the standards Marjorie claimed Michael didn't meet. The investigative irony here is that Marjorie's standards were supposedly so high, yet she finds herself looking back at the one man who actually treated her with the grounded respect she claimed to crave. The public is seeing the Harvey PR machine for what it is, a house of cards built on sensationalism that is currently being blown away by Michael's genuine success. The fallout is becoming a financial and social crisis for the Harvey camp. In the world of high-stakes celebrity branding, being ignored by the man of the hour is a death sentence for your social currency. Brands that once flocked to Lori for that power couple energy are now reportedly looking at Michael's solo trajectory with much more interest. There are even rumors of Marjorie attempting to reach out to Michael's management to clear the air and offer a public truce, likely to save face, but Michael's team has remained a fortress. They aren't interested in a PR reconciliation because Michael doesn't need the Harvey validation anymore. He has the Academy's validation, the world's validation, and most importantly, his own. As we look at the consequences, we have to talk about the internal family divide. Steve Harvey's refusal to cut ties with Michael is the ultimate crack in the Harvey armor. For Steve to be seen hugging Michael at a basketball game, looking genuinely proud, was a public signal that he doesn't subscribe to the burn the bridge policy Marjorie and Lori tried to enforce. Reports suggest that this has caused a massive rift behind closed doors, with Lori reportedly feeling betrayed by her own father's loyalty to her ex. This isn't just a breakup fallout, it's a family identity crisis. So, where do we go from here? Michael B. Jordan has set a new standard for how to handle a public smear campaign. You don't fight it with words, you fight it with trophies. He has effectively pushed the Harvey narrative aside, leaving Lori and Marjorie to deal with the echoes of their own shade. Was this the biggest fumble in Hollywood history? Or was Michael always destined for this greatness without them? And more importantly, will Lori ever be able to step out of the shadow of the one who let Michael B. Jordan go? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you're Team Michael, and make sure you're subscribed because this investigation is only getting started. We've got more leaked details coming in the next segment. You don't want to miss what happens when the Harvey silence finally breaks. The silence coming from Michael's camp wasn't just a lack of noise, it was a strategic blackout. As we move into the second phase of this investigative breakdown, we have to look at the sheer audacity of the Harvey PR machine trying to pivot. After years of subtle jabs and dump him energy, the narrative has shifted from he wasn't enough for her to why won't he pick up the phone? Sources within the inner circle of Hollywood's elite social clubs have leaked information that is absolutely staggering. While Lori was busy maintaining her unbothered aesthetic on Instagram, her management team was reportedly working overtime to secure invites to the same post-Oscar parties as Michael. The goal was simple, a natural photo op. A handshake, a smile, a we're still friends moment to tell the world that the Harveys still have access to the biggest star in the room. But Michael's security detail was reportedly given a very specific list of names that were not to gain entry to his private sections, and the Harvey name was at the top of that list. This is the ultimate pushed-aside moment. When you go from being the woman on his arm to being the name on the no-entry list, the social fall is vertical and fast. But let's talk about the alleged leaked emails that have been circulating among the top-tier blogs. These documents suggest that Marjorie Harvey wasn't just a bystander in this outreach, she was the architect. The reports indicate that Marjorie reached out to a high-level contact at Michael's production company, Outlier Society, under the guise of congratulating the team. But the conversation quickly turned toward Lori. The narrative being pushed was that Lori had matured and realized her mistakes during her time with Damson Idris. This is classic Marjorie, trying to sell a redemption arc before the public even knows a crime was committed. She allegedly tried to frame the breakup as a misunderstanding caused by youthful hesitation, rather than the calculated media circus it actually was. Public reaction to these leaks has been a mix of hilarity and genuine shock. Fans are dissecting every reposted quote on Marjorie's story, looking for the cracks in the armor. One viral comment summed it up perfectly: you can't treat a man like an option when he's becoming the only choice. The internet has collective memory, and it hasn't forgotten the way Michael was mocked when those courtside photos of him looking sad went viral. At that time, the Harvey camp didn't step in to stop the jokes, they leaned into them. Now that the jokes are on them, the desperation is palpable. And what about the Damson Idris of it all? Investigations into their current status suggest that the relationship has become a casualty of this Oscar win fallout. Imagine being the current man while your partner is reportedly spiraling over her ex's success. Sources say Damson has been feeling the ghost of Michael for months, but the Oscar win was the breaking point. The power dynamic in that relationship was always skewed, but with Laurie's attention clearly diverted toward what she lost, the Damson era is looking more like a footnote than a chapter. There are reports of heated arguments over Laurie's constant checking of Michael's social media and her insistence on attending events where Michael might be present. It's a mess of epic proportions. The investigative findings also point to a deeper level of manipulation regarding the White X narrative that was pushed during the breakup. New information suggests that this story was intentionally amplified by Marjorie's PR contacts to shield Laurie from being labeled a heartbreaker within the Black community. They wanted to turn the community against Michael so Laurie could exit the relationship as the virtuous one who was done wrong. But as Michael continued to pour back into the community, funding programs and elevating Black voices in film, that lie began to rot. People started asking, if he's the villain they said he was, why is he the only one doing the work? The White X story didn't just fail, it backfired, making the Harvey women look like they were weaponizing racial dynamics for personal gain. As the fallout continues, the financial implications for the Harvey brand are becoming clear. Laurie's SKN by LH and her various modeling contracts rely on her being the trendsetter. But right now, the only trend she's setting is the fumble. Industry insiders say that luxury brands are becoming hesitant to align with the messy energy coming from the Harvey camp. Meanwhile, Michael is signing deals with luxury fashion houses and tech giants who want that Oscar winner prestige. The gap between their social standings is no longer a crack, it's a canyon. And then there is the Steve factor which continues to haunt the family dinner table. Sources say Steve and Marjorie have had intense discussions about his continued friendship with Michael. Steve reportedly told Marjorie that he doesn't do fake, and if Michael is a good man, he will treat him as such, regardless of Laurie's feelings. This is a massive blow to the unified front the Harveys usually project. For the first time, the patriarch is stepping out of the script Marjorie wrote. The alleged blocking of the century. Sources close to Michael's tech team have whispered that it wasn't just a simple block on Instagram. Michael reportedly changed his personal number and had his team scrub his digital life of any direct access points for the Harvey family. He didn't just close the door, he welded it shut. The silence she received wasn't a glitch, it was a deliberate, professional, and personal execution of boundaries. The consequences are starting to manifest in public outbursts. Notice how Marjorie's posts have become increasingly cryptic. Notice how Laurie's public appearances have become fewer and further between. They are hiding from the narrative they created. They are realizing that in the game of Hollywood chess, Michael just put them in checkmate without saying a single word. He didn't have to leak a story. He didn't have to post a shady quote. He just had to win. As we move into the final part of this investigation, we're going to look at the fallout and consequences on a global scale. We're talking about the potential end of the Harvey IT girl era and the rise of Michael B. Jordan as the undisputed king of the industry. We will break down the hypothetical resignation of Laurie from the spotlight and how Marjorie is reportedly trying to find a new Michael for her daughter to save the family brand. But is there another Michael out there? Or did they lose the only one that mattered? The tension is at an all-time high, and the world is watching to see if the Harvey family can ever recover from being pushed aside by the man they thought they could control. Stay tuned, because the final breakdown is where the real truth comes to light. The fallout from this systematic erasure is now entering its most critical phase, where the long-term consequences are starting to hit the Harvey bank accounts and their social standing. As we move into the final act of this investigative breakdown, we have to look at the wreckage left behind by a failed PR campaign that tried to play chess with a man who was busy building an empire. The investigative reality is that Michael B. Jordan didn't just win an Oscar. He essentially revoked the Harveys' VIP pass to the top tier of the industry. Insiders are now reporting that the tension within the Harvey household has reached a breaking point, leading to what some are calling a brand crisis meeting. Marjorie, the supposed architect of the Harvey image, is reportedly facing internal pressure because her playbook failed to account for a man who doesn't care about social media optics. For years, the Harvey strategy was simple. Control the narrative, push a few shady quotes, and let the public assume you were the one who walked away. But Michael's silence has acted like a mirror, reflecting all that manufactured drama right back at them. Now, instead of looking like the elite family that's too good for everyone, They are starting to look like the family that's been left behind in the dust of a superstar's Ferrari. Public backlash has transitioned from simple memes to a deeper conversation about accountability and the weaponization of narratives. People are revisiting the old interviews where Lori hinted that Michael didn't meet her standards, and they are asking the hard questions. What exactly were those standards? If an Oscar-winning, multimillionaire, respected philanthropist and actor isn't enough, what is the end goal? The investigative irony is that by trying to elevate Lori's status through Michael's deficiencies, they inadvertently highlighted her own lack of direction. Now that Michael is standing on the mountain peak, those past comments about his standards look less like a critique of him and more like a massive delusion of grandeur on her part. The financial fallout is the part they didn't see coming. In Hollywood, your association is your currency. When Lori was with Michael, she wasn't just a model. She was the partner of the industry's golden boy. That association brought in luxury brand deals that wanted to tap into that specific power couple energy. But now, with Michael officially pushed aside and refusing to even acknowledge her existence, that currency has devalued. Reports are surfacing that major fashion houses are pivoting their focus toward Michael's new, solo brand, leaving Lori to scramble for relevance in an increasingly crowded influencer market. The IT Girl title is being stripped away by the sheer force of Michael's professional momentum. Even more shocking are the reports of hypothetical legal probes regarding the source of some of the more malicious rumors that circulated during the breakup. While nothing has been filed in court, Michael's legal team has reportedly been monitoring the origin of specific defamatory claims regarding his personal life and dating history. This quiet power move has sent a chill through the Harvey camp. When a man has the resources and the public support that Michael now possesses, he doesn't need to argue in the comments. He can let his legal and PR teams dismantle your narrative with surgical precision. The Harveys are no longer dealing with a boyfriend, they are dealing with a global entity. And what about the ultimate consequence? The erasure of legacy. Marjorie Harvey has spent years cultivating an image of a family that is untouchable, but Michael B. Jordan just proved that they are very much touchable and ignorable. The Marjorie method of PR, using cryptic quotes and high-fashion distractive tactics, has lost its sting. When you've been blocked by the king of Hollywood, no amount of Hermes bags can hide the fact that you've lost your seat at the table. The public has noticed that Michael's circle now includes actual legends, icons, and world leaders, while the Harveys are left looping the same social media tactics that worked in 2021 but are failing miserably in 2026. As we wrap up this investigative deep dive, the truth is becoming impossible to hide. Lori Harvey didn't just lose a boyfriend, she lost her connection to greatness because she, and her mother, thought they could control it. Michael B. Jordan's big win was the final nail in the coffin of a narrative that tried to make him small. He didn't just win an Oscar for his acting, he won the breakup, the PR war, and the future. The Harvey ladies are currently beside themselves because, for the first time in a long time, they aren't the ones holding the cards. They are just spectators in the audience of Michael's life, watching him win while they wonder where it all went wrong. The contrast is absolute. On one side, you have a man who used heartbreak as fuel to reach the literal top of his profession. On the other, you have a family trying to use a man's success to jumpstart their own fading headlines. Michael B. Jordan is moving in silence, leveling up, and focused on his path. Lori and Marjorie. They are still in the noise, still in the shades, and still very much in the past. It turns out that when you push someone like Michael B. Jordan aside, you're actually just pushing yourself out of the frame. Now, I have to ask you, the real investigators watching this, is there any coming back for the Harvey brand after this level of public embarrassment? Can Lori Harvey ever truly level up after fumbling a man who is now Hollywood royalty? Or is this the beginning of the end for the Harvey era as we know it? The timing of her reach out, the desperation in the air, and Michael's cold, hard silence tell a story that no publicist can fix. This wasn't just a win for Michael, it was a reality check for everyone who thinks they can manipulate their way to the top. Michael B. Jordan is the best actor, but the Harvey ladies might just win the award for the best performance in a desperate situation. Make sure you hit that like button if you think Michael did the right thing by hitting the block button. Comment down below with your thoughts on Marjorie's role in this whole mess. Do you think she's the one who really ruined it for Lori? Subscribe and turn on those notifications, because the Harvey camp is reportedly preparing a tell-all response to save their reputation, and you already know we'll be the first ones to tear it apart and find the truth. Stay tuned, stay skeptical, and keep watching the patterns, because in this game, the silence always speaks the loudest. We're out. Michael B. Jordan's victory is far more than just a trophy. It is a silent, powerful response to everyone who tried to leave him in the rearview mirror. Today, the question is directed straight at you. Do you believe Lori Harvey's sudden attempt to contact Michael is rooted in genuine regret, or is it just another calculated PR move triggered by the blinding glare of his newfound success? And what about Marjorie Harvey's role in all of this? Should a mother interfere so deeply in her daughter's life that she ends up losing a man who is clearly a rare gem? Be sure to tell us in the comments, if you were in Michael's shoes, would you give Lori a second chance, or would you do exactly what he did, hit the block button and keep leveling up? Public opinion is firmly on Michael's side right now, but we want to hear your perspective. Is this officially the biggest fumble in Hollywood history? If you enjoyed this investigative breakdown and want more spicy, insider truths, hit that like button immediately. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because in our next episode, we're revealing the identity of the new leading lady in Michael's life, the one who is reportedly causing the Harvey family some very restless nights. Share this video with those friends who are still stuck in their ex's cycle so they can learn a thing or two from Michael's playbook. We'll see you in the next video with a fresh secret and a brand new scandal. Stay tuned, stay hooked,